peace costs. So like at some point you got to make the decision on what's more important, the money or the peace. And usually when you're at peace, then the money comes anyways. Every album is a reflection of where I'm at that point of my life.
Hello, my fellow Martians. My name is Harry Mars, and this is the On Mars Pod, where we take a deep dive into creative professionals, entrepreneurs, and other inspiring Martians alike.
It literally, when I closed my eyes, it felt like I was in a tunnel. It just was like, shoo. We're getting on a live stream and getting 500, 600, 700 submissions every week. Now it's not to bring glory to anything other than God himself. You know, so yeah, it's being able to be the light in a dark place anytime you possibly can.
Hello, my fellow Martians. Today on Mars, we are joined by father, a businessman, an artist, a streamer, and so much more. We got Zach Beck, aka Futuristic. Thank you for being here.
Yo, streamer.
I mean, full time for the past, what is it, 6-8 weeks?
Something like that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
Full time, part time.
Full-time,
when you
part-time.
say full time in the stream world, these dudes be on they literally
That's
be on
true.
24 hours a day, every day.
No, I
Yeah.
not full time,
Yeah.
part time,
Weekly.
though, which is like
Weekly.
still
Consistent streamer.
consistent streamer.
Yeah,
Yes.
big
And-
streamer guy.
Yeah,
Big streamer.
big streamer guy.
Big streamer guy.
Big streamer guy. Big YouTube and Twitch guys over
You know
here.
what I'm
yeah.
saying? You know.
Catch us every Wednesday live at Only Futuristic and Friends on Twitch.
Come on, something light.
So last week or something like that, Zach hit me up and said, "Let's do the pod next week, my boy."
Let's run it back, Turbo.
And I said, "Yes, sir. Let's
Mhm.
go." So, and I'm glad you hit me up, man, because it's such a great time to have you on because there's been a lot of life changes that happened since your last episode.
Facts.
And we talked about that, and it's really important to, touch on those things because, you got baptized recently. You got an album coming out. You are, like I said, running the stream now. So there's just so many things that wasn't happening before.
Which is crazy because it hasn't been that long.
It's only been, I think we were talking about it is 9 months, I'm pretty sure. So episode 44 is
Pregnancy.
your episode.
A pregnancy,
A whole pregnancy.
ago.
So, but
No
a lot
more-
can happen.
Yeah, a lot can happen. No more
So-
pregnancies for me.
Yeah. 3 under 3, man. Yeah, we were talking about it earlier today. Cadence you said he memorized 12 books or something like that?
Yeah, bro. He be going crazy. He probably has more books memorized than that. But yeah, it's like, I'm like, how is he? I'm like looking at the page and he's like, he's not even messing up a word. And I'm like, dog, I be reading it, messing it up.
Yeah.
How do you just have the whole thing memorized and say everything so well?
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
No, the brain of he's now 3 years old.
Yeah.
Nice, dude. Wow,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
You know?
They grow up. I feel like nowadays they grow up even faster than like when we were kids. Like 3 years old, I feel like was still a little bit, I don't know, young back then. But now they're like,
They're
speaking
moving and
full-time-
grooving. They're moving and grooving.
It's like
yeah.
the teenagers at 3 years old.
Yeah.
So we talked about this earlier too. Last time we talked, you were about to go on Ikigai tour.
Wow.
So,
Yeah.
and which is nuts because I feel like it wasn't that long ago, but it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
So, but since then,
It's all a blur.
you've transitioned to now you're a Christian artist.
Mm-hmm.
And I do want to talk about the transition from, at that point you were talking about in the last episode how you were already writing clean lyrics
Yeah.
and how you were announcing that you were no longer going to be performing any of your old records because you
Yeah.
didn't relate to them anymore.
Yeah.
So it's almost like that was the transitional period of you realizing that you wanted to actually lean more into something that's a little bit more faith-based,
Yeah.
spiritual, something that feels like, I don't know, different than what you were doing before. So
Yeah.
I just want to talk about that and how, like, what that transition was like and what kind of led to you actually realizing you wanted to lean into being a Christian artist.
Yeah, man. It's so much, I think that at that point in time, even the last album, Ikigai, has the 2 records on there that it has Y'all Need God and Clarity, which were both faith-based, and Clarity was the last record I made. And I feel like this always happens. Anytime I make an album, the last record I make is usually like the sleeper, but like my favorite. And Clarity
Right.
is easily my favorite song off that project.
Yeah.
And so that kind of was just like, it felt really, really good making that record. And then not only that, it was just like I said, it was the last one. So I had already grown so much in the process of making that album, right? That album maybe took, I don't know, 4 or 5 months to make, let's say. But, 4 or 5 months, a lot can happen, as we see right now. So I think for me, it was just every album is a reflection of where I'm at that point of my life. And so Clarity was just at the tail end of that. So I was already just growing in my faith, and it's something that it's been a lifelong journey, and I can't really explain it any other way than like I feel like I opened up space to accept God into my life. And I never really knew that's what I was doing, but that's what I was doing. From getting sober to getting married, leaving all of my demons in the past, for lack of better term. And it kind of opened it up. And then it began this, cutting people out of my life and all these things, but I was still doing it all alone.
Mm-hmm.
And so I still had this pressure, and I had this weight on my shoulders. It wasn't a chip anymore. I didn't have a chip on my shoulder, but I still had the weight. So it wasn't until I started leaning into God for clarity where it was like, okay, cool. I'm more at peace with my decisions now. They come to me quicker. I don't do something and then think about, oh, was that the right move? It's just like, I'm just going,
Right.
And I also didn't have so much pressure on myself, even when things weren't going great. It's just like, God got it, So, and then with that, it became the journey of, realizing God was there, accepting he was there, feeling him be there, and then learning more about God, and then growing in my relationship with God.
Right.
So it was like different levels of the faith. And then that tour is what kind of cracked the door open, right? So I went on that tour, and I felt uncomfortable almost on my own tour.
Wow.
Because I was performing some of the old songs and some of the new songs. So night by night, it was interesting because some of the crowd wanted the new stuff, some of the crowd wanted the old stuff, and you never knew what the crowd was going to be. Some nights it was like they didn't want the old stuff at all. Everybody that was there was from the Ikigai rollout.
Right.
And then other nights they're like, what is this? Please play the greatest, So it was very, very weird. And then, I was they're just, me and my fans at that point in time were in a different space where like, I'm not getting drunk. I'm not going out and partying. I'm not smoking with y'all. Like, I'm not doing these things. And you follow me, so you should know that I'm not on that type of time.
Yeah.
So then one show on the tour, shout out to my guy, No Big Deal, the whole indie tribe. I got booked to do a Christian festival on the tour.
Right.
And that was kind of the night that everything like eye-opening shifted for me, because I had already been wearing this clothing company. There's so many layers to it. So I do the show, and nobody's drinking at the show. Everybody there is in their faith because it's a Christian show. And I just had great conversation after great conversation after great conversation standing at my merch booth. Where at my shows, it was like I said, the drunkenness, and I still had good conversations for sure, but it was just a whole different vibe.
Right.
I'm like, man, this feels good.
Right.
This feels clean. This feels uplifting. It feels like I can grow from these fans, which is crazy because normally like you're not getting input necessarily from the fans. It's constant output. Like as far as like when you have these conversations with fans, it's like, yo, your music saved my life, and you're helping them through a time, right? So I felt like, yo, these people in the crowd were like coming and giving me a word. And I was like, oh man, this is crazy. I've never been inspired like this at my own show.
Right.
So that was nuts. And then, so boom, I do the show. And that night I was talking with wifey on the phone till like 2 a.m, which is way past our bedtimes.
Yes.
And I just told her, I was like, I feel like this is like something I'm supposed to do. And obviously I'd already made Clarity. I'd already made Y'all Need God. And I enjoyed performing those on tour. I ended my set with Clarity every night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I feel like I need to lean into this, but I don't want it to look like I'm doing it for clout. I don't want it to look like, I don't want it to feel ingenuine. I don't want it to feel like a reach. I don't want it to feel like I'm chasing something that I'm not, because I have been on this journey, and I just feel like I've gave people all the other elements of like mental health and self-love and growth throughout the years. And like, I feel like I have a unique perspective on faith. And she was like, just pray about it. She said, tonight, don't pray about anything else. Specifically, just pray about that. I'm like, all right, cool. Then the next morning I wake up. It's like one record label follows me. One record label emails me. Christian label follows me. Christian label emails me. Maverick City Music, arguably the biggest worship group, follows me, DMs me. And I'm just like,
the signs
maybe
were
this
there.
is a sign.
The signs were there.
Maybe this is a sign. So
right.
you know, that, I mean, that's obviously the long story of that. And then even the company that I had been wearing, you know, those jerseys I wear, the Get God in You jerseys.
Yes, that's right.
He came out to that show. The show was in Nashville. He came out from Alabama, and he told me, he's like, you don't realize, like, I felt something so crazy when you were on stage, and God is working through you, and this is going to be so much bigger than me just giving you free clothes.
Jeez.
And that's who actually baptized me the other day. Yeah, that's him. So he came
What
out
a
for my
full
baptism.
circle
Yeah, so
moment.
we can get into that later. But
No,
yeah, I mean, that's
crazy.
So very, very much. So that show was really, like I said, shout out to Indie Tribe, because that show was, I wouldn't say necessarily the start, but like the confirmation.
Yeah. And I do want to talk about Indie Tribe. I'm glad that you bring them up, because No Big Deal and John Keith.
John Keith, Tori Deshawn,
you brought me
all
to
them
a show in Phoenix.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was, I forgot, was it Valley Bar?
Yeah.
So we went down to Valley Bar, and that show was so sick because it was insane to know that it was a Christian show. But if you wouldn't have told me that, I wouldn't have even known.
Right.
And it was like the energy of the crowd was just like, they were locked in.
Yeah.
And it was so cool tonight. I remember telling you this, that it was like
I forgot
inspiring.
we went to that.
Yeah, dude, that was like the beginning. That
Yeah.
was at the beginning days. And I think you had just performed with them just a little bit before that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, man, I just like, it was cool to see that was going on, and they had such a big following, and they could like perform at such a high level, and it was all Christian based music. And it's just like, you could see that the passion was through the roof, and I could feel it in the building. The energy was crazy, and it was like, so it was cool to be able to like see that was a possibility, and I could see you obviously going in that same lane. But I guess just talk about that friendship and like what kind of inspiration they brought you, because you basically said that like as soon as you did that show, they were the reasons why you chose to lean into it because of that.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah. I had been listening to I mean, even on that tour, like, I don't really listen to any mainstream music, and kind of never have.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've always just bumped the homies. And No Big Deal, talk about another full circle moment. No Big Deal was the first artist I ever tried to sign.
Really?
Yeah, in 2017.
Dang.
I didn't even know what, like, I knew what signing an artist was, but I didn't even know what I wanted to build. I was just kind of like, yo, you got something really dope. I think I could help you. We should do something. Like, crazy. Like you should come, like, you know, and he came to the crib like right when I moved back here
in
from LA.
2017.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
I don't even think that I had the second crib yet. I think I only had the first crib.
The first one. Wow.
Yeah, and he came to the crib, and I just heard him on iTunes, and I reached out and was just like, yo, you're really dope. And he happened to have family out here and was in town either like right after that or when I hit him, even though he lived in Nashville. So yeah, he came to the crib, and we talked, and I was just like, yo, I think I could help you. But what's really cool is he was like, yo, I kind of got this thing called Indie Tribe. And at that point it was just him. He didn't have anybody else. But so full circle, right? Like,
yeah. So he's been the homie kind of.
We dropped the song together in 2018.
Okay.
Yeah. So it goes back that far.
Yeah.
Which now is crazy. Yeah, that's 8 years ago.
Whoa.
Yeah, if you think about it, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So I mean, you guys are going on like a decade of like knowing each other and working together.
I took him on tour.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he went on my tour in 2019.
Damn.
Yeah. And we talked about that at the show. He was like, yo, it's kind of crazy because like how I felt on my own tour. Like he went on my tour as the only Christian artist.
Right.
I went to his festival as the only secular artist. You know, so like it reversed the roles. But he was like, yeah, bro. He's like, I went on your tour thinking like, how can I change my set to fit Futuristic fans? And then he's like, nah, I just got to do my set. Yeah. So I forgot about that. Yeah.
Yo,
So
that's crazy though, because it's like the same way that like you felt out of place on your own tour. He probably at
He
the time
did.
he felt out of place
Oh
on
my
that
gosh,
tour.
especially
Yeah.
back, in those
Back
times.
in the time,
Yeah.
because you were like full blown still.
Yeah, I was drinking. I
Yeah.
was, it wasn't like at the pinnacle of
Of
my
course,
career,
but
but it
like,
was still like we was drinking
yeah, it was still in the
and it was a
writer.
party. It was
Yeah.
every night. I was
Yeah.
Even when we shot the music video in 2017, it was on Warp Tour, and like the whole video, I got the Ciroc bottle in my hand.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yeah, it's a different time.
For sure. When the riders had Ciroc bottles in them, that's when that was that time.
Yeah, yeah,
It's like-
yeah.
But I mean, yeah, John Keith, no big deal. Shout out to them
Indie
because
Tribe,
they kind
the
of started
whole-
a whole new era of your music, man. So then signing a record deal with a Christian label, that was a big, moment, and I do feel like that was, a turning point when it kind of made it real in a way.
Yeah,
It's just like, okay, now I really kind of have to lean into it because now I'm being represented by Christian management and whatever, maybe not management, but whatever whatever your deal is.
right.
So I guess like you are known to be heavily independent.
I'm the independent guy.
You're the independent guy.
I am the independent guy for sure.
So that being said, what made you want to sign that deal? And what about the people that you signed with? Drew you to them? And I guess like, do you feel like moving forward with the label is the best move for you now that you've been with them for as long as you've been with them?
Yeah. So basically, it was right away. Right. Did the festival? Did Holy Smoke? Got all these things and kind of vetted them out, chopped it up with people, and Tribal was really dope. That's who I signed with. That's where Maverick City Music is at. And really it was kind of like a distribution deal.
Okay.
And I was kind of just like, I've already been managing people. So at this point, I've seen every single type of deal, and I've negotiated every type of deal you could possibly negotiate, have talked to at least 70 labels at this point, for not just for me, but for the artists I represent.
Makes sense.
So when it comes in, I'm just like, I don't really know about this because there's not like enough skin in the game, So yeah, we did a cool deal. And the main thing that really got me there was, my A&R, the guy that brought me in, Ray, my guy Ray, shout out Ray. He came to the baptism as well. He just was on it. He was mad cool. He was like, yo, whatever you want to do, however you want to do it, what's it look like, and then he'd kind of spearhead everything and bring the team in. And my thought was just like, if I'm stepping, I entertained deals a few times recently, right? When I did the rock stuff,
right? I
entertained rock labels and I talked to a few different ones and was close to signing. And then this deal, where it's like, okay, I'm stepping into a new space. So at the end of the day, I'm like, if I'm stepping into a new space, it would be good to have representation in that space. Right. And also, leaning into the moment of praying for everything and getting the clarity and then all these things happening. I'm like, well, it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that what I've learned is two things, which I've known this, right? Like I move how I want to move.
Always.
And if somebody slows me down, I'm going to bypass you. Period. Yeah. Like it just is what it is. Like I don't have time to even wait for you to call me back. I'm on the go.
Yeah.
It's happening. Yeah. I called you just to tell you it's happening and you didn't answer, so now I'm moving. So it's like it's very hard for me to be in a situation where there's any yellow tape.
Yeah.
And then too, I've been around for so long that even with labels, there's people that work at the label that are supposed to be experts at their jobs, but like I'm more of an expert than you.
Yeah.
I've been like what Kanye say to Sway, I've been doing this more than you, Sway. Like, so that's how I be feeling, when I'm on these meetings. And it's not even just me feel like even the label feels like that, where it's like, I low key be like having to calm down on the meetings because I'm like, I'm gonna take somebody's job because I'm doing it better than they're doing it. Like they're gonna have to hire me as creative director at the label now because this guy is like, oh, so how are we gonna market this? I don't know, label. Why don't you tell me? Well, and then I we should do that with all the artists. I'm like, yeah, you should, So it's just like that's
crazy.
And that's not just this label. It's just like as I get into this, just because I've been doing this for so long.
That makes sense.
So I'm a hard person to manage. I'm a hard person to have signed to anywhere because I know a lot about the game and I've been through every scenario, and because of that, I move how I want to move.
Facts.
So yeah, labels are definitely not for me, but that's no knock. That's no knock on the label. It's just the fact that like for how I like to live my life, it's just that. I even feel like that with business. It's like, yo, like I've done big business and I don't like big business. I don't like a ton of employees. I don't like a board of advisors. I don't like executive and CEO and all this stuff. I like to move, shift, pivot, and make a decision today and go after it tomorrow.
Yeah.
So when you have 30 people under you and you have to do all these different things, it's
All
like,
these
I
hands.
can't move like that.
Yeah.
I just gotta go. So yeah, I think a label is just another thing like that where it's like, I can't wait for 30 of y'all to make up your mind on how we should market this song when I've marketed 3,000 other songs before.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that, I think that's a good point where it's like it's hard to manage someone that knows how to manage themselves and also other artists.
Yeah.
And do it successfully and like on a high level. And to be honest, like you're just like connected already. So it's like they got to be offering some crazy shit.
Yeah.
You know, they got to be really, giving you something that you couldn't get yourself. And also, you have to have a lot of creative control, and there's a lot of stipulations when it comes to putting you on a deal. So,
and I'm
tough.
a student. I'm really a student too. So when I do start diving in a lane, it's like I study. I go to every playlist of that lane. I find every artist from the top to the bottom. I follow those artists. I talk to those artists. I work with those artists. I do all these different things. Like the producers, the graphic designers, everybody involved in any niche that I rock with, like I become a fan of too.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like when I started listening to Christian music long before I signed, I had already built a lot of relationships and had talked to a lot of people. So when the label starts throwing out names of, I know, it's like, he already sent me the verse. Like I already have that. Maybe they're like, maybe we could do that. Yeah, no, it's already here. Yeah. My bad. I should have told y'all. I've been had that. So yeah, it's one of those things, bro. Like I'm going.
Yeah, for sure. And moving forward, it's like indie amplify is like your whole shit. So it's like independent artistry.
Yeah.
You've always been the guy. So yeah, I think that's just the way that probably it has to be.
Yeah. And I think too, another part of it was, like I said, I've been entertaining it for the last couple of years. And it's, bro, I've entertained label deals at every phase of my career, right? Like when I first started, I got offered a deal from Motown in 2012.
Crazy.
Maybe even like 2011. So yeah, I got offered a deal at the very beginning, and that's what like opened my mind up to what labels even, like how bad the deals were back then, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then because at first it's just like, oh my gosh, a record label, yeah, we're on.
Especially Motown. That's crazy.
Yeah, and then it's like, actually, no, don't sign that. And then like kind of the courting phase in 2014 to like being on the bubble of popping to then 2015, 16 being like, okay, every label wants to sign me and I have the leverage, and not signing at that time, and then now coming back around and seeing how the new label deals are structured and then deciding like, okay, so for my 20th, I've done 19 albums independent. This is my 20th and we do it with the label. And it's good because now I never have the what if.
Right. That's such a good point.
I never have to wonder.
Yeah, man. And you saw it through. And this album you're talking about, this is Finally Found.
Yeah.
So this album is coming out in the next few days.
Yeah.
What day?
April 18th.
April 18th. And this will be out on the 14th. So this coming Friday.
This is the promo for the album.
This is the promo,
this
right?
Is it.
You're
right
listening
here.
to it right here,
this
live on Mars.
I'm finally found. Ooh. Come on.
Hit it. So I want to talk about the process of making Finally Found, because this is your first official Christian album. And you did mention on Ikigai you had Y'all Need God for Real and Clarity. Yeah. And those are both faith-based songs, but leaning into it fully, that's a different thing. Yeah. So talk about that process.
It's funny because this one is like the reverse. There's 2 songs on this one that aren't Christian songs, mixed feelings and Like You.
But both still very story driven and like,
yeah. And I think it just goes in once again, like I wasn't, even though I signed to a Christian label, like I went in saying like I'm not necessarily making a Christian project. I just make music from where I'm at that moment. So right now, one of my main focus has been growing in my faith, and that comes out in the music.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I guess the mindset going into this, it was just, it was partially, I guess, partially you want to make, yeah, I want to make intent. Everything has to have intent, and everything has to be with a purpose. And I think that right now, like I said, and not right now, from here on forward, it's like that was the last piece of my purpose, was getting closer to God and growing my relationship with God. So yeah, this album was just that. It's like, as I'm learning something new in Bible study, as I'm learning something new at church, like it's immediately getting put into the records. You know, it's immediately like how I'm feeling and what I'm going through. It's like, conversations I'm having with my wife. Like I say on one of the features, not on the project necessarily, but the feature before, I say, God, basically like God's working through women in music. God knew my weaknesses, women, music. And like that came from a conversation with my wife about almost being insecure in the space of being like, should I be talking about this yet? Or should I grow more first and then come back and talk about it? And she was just like, think about it. God knew your two biggest loves in life were women and music. And throughout your entire life, every girl you've ever liked has been big in her faith. Every girl I've dated seriously went to church and was big in their faith. And then music artists, like I'm still NF's like only collab.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I've collabed with Andy Mineo, and I collabed with No Big Deal way earlier on, not even knowing that they were Christian artists.
Right.
So, it's kind of like all these conversations I'm having about faith and everything else just is coming out immediately in the record. So going into this project, it was just, once again, another evolution of me as a human, you know? So yeah, there was definitely more diving in. I kind of thought I was going to make a rock project. The first few songs I made,
remember, yeah, they were a little bit.
They were super like rock rap.
Yeah.
So I was like super on that wave. I did link up. I like tapped back in with some old producers that I remember did like very just soulful music.
Mm-hmm.
I tapped in with some new producers that I saw were producing for some other big Christian artists. So yeah, I got, the last album was all produced by Hunter.
Yeah.
And this new album, no Hunter beats.
Right.
So like I was tapping in with, I think there's 5 different producers for
Which
10
is
tracks.
Awesome. Yeah.
So definitely tapped back in and tapped in with new people for the production and just was locked in. And I think I made 70 songs and cut it to 10. And it was quick.
It was
a matter of a few months.
Yeah.
And that's how it always is. When I'm in an area of growth in my life, my music enters into that area.
It spills out of you.
Yeah. And then it kind of like takes a break.
Yeah, for sure, man. And I want to talk about like the music and the faith, like you growing into the faith through the music.
Yeah.
And I want to talk about like how that helps you lean in further into both of those things. And basically like you probably find like you fall deeper into your love of music by growing through your music,
your faith.
In your faith.
Yeah, I think that, one of the things is God uses you as a vessel, and God also gives you abilities to bring glory to him, right? So immediately it's an ego death, because you realize like my talents that were given to me, yes, I sharpened the knife, right? Like I made sure and I put in the 10,000 hours, but like, yo, not everybody is born with this ability that I have. And so it was given to me for a reason. So that already puts more purpose in the music, and you don't understand that until you grow in your faith. You also don't let that ego go until you grow in your faith. You don't maneuver the business the same. Every part of it is different, because it's not a selfish thing. It's literally to bring more awareness for the kingdom. It's literally to bring more awareness to God. And me being who I am, it's me being able to bring people that otherwise wouldn't be here. And I've seen it already so fast, and in multiple different ways. Like people that like my immediate circle, people that know me personally, have been leaning more into their faith. And I've been getting people to go to church with me.
Exactly.
And I've been, having tough conversations with my friends that are atheists and, all these different things. And then I've also seen it on the internet aspect of it, of like people that stopped listening to me that now have came back. Which I didn't expect that.
That's pretty
actually
crazy.
Today, because I just posted about being baptized today, the amount of, I've never, for a long time I've not got this much interaction in my DMs and on a post as far as like the comments and like the long written out messages that people have been sending me. And so many people stopped listening to me because they found God, which is crazy because I thought it was going to be the opposite. So many people were going to leave because they didn't like the fact that I was leaning into my faith, you know?
Wow.
Because it's always like you grow up and people are like, don't talk about religion, don't talk about politics. You know, those are kind of like the no-nos.
Exactly.
And I've been very, very public with my growth and very public with my story. So naturally, you're going to alienate some people. But the love that I've gotten from not only fans that weren't in their faith to fans that left me to further their faith. They literally stopped listening to me because they were so in their faith, which I get it. I've stopped listening to artists because I'm like, this is too negative. Yeah. I can't consume this. It's dirtying my mind and my palate, you know, like, so I completely understand it. So it's been really, really cool. And they do go hand in hand. And, yeah, man, it's been beautiful. And the more I grow in that, it's like, the more I can apply it to not only life, but music, because my music is an extension of my life.
Exactly. Yeah. And using, I like how you said, like, you're kind of like a vessel to use your music to inspire other people around the world too, through your lyrics and like your performances. And I mean, now that you're able to like spread your message through the streams too, and like that's all still within that same, like, you're still even, you know, shutting down negativity. And like when someone sends in a song where it's just like talking about like, kill this, hoe that, you know, money, hoes, weed, whatever type stuff. Like you're like, that ain't it. And and you shut it down. And I think that's really important to like let people know like that's who you are. And that's like, this isn't just like an act. You know what I mean? This is real life.
And I actually, it's kind of crazy because when I did the Prof tour, so I think we did the podcast maybe before the Prof tour or
I think it was after.
Right
after. It was after
the
Prof tour.
So when I did the Prof tour, I was doing some of these Christian songs. I was doing Clarity, and I'd give, you know, a speech about just at the beginning phase of what faith is doing for me. Right. You know, and obviously sobriety and all that kind of was involved in the same speech, but like that was their favorite part. Once again, in a room full of people that most of them are non-believers and a lot of them are drugged up and a lot of them are drunk.
Rap fans.
Like they're coming up to me after the show being like, that was the best part of the show.
Crazy.
That's the most inspiring part. That's the best part. And I want to follow you because of that, which just shows you, you know, like at the end of the day, like people say, like Jesus wasn't out here only hanging with perfect people. Everybody was flawed. He was, you know, helping the people that were doing the wildest things. It's sinners, which we all are. So it's like at the end of the day, you're shining light in dark places.
Yeah.
And I think that it's a beautiful thing for that to be part of my calling.
Yeah.
And it always has been, but now even deeper, because now it's not to bring glory to anything other than God himself. You know? So yeah, it's being able to be the light in a dark place anytime you possibly can.
Yeah, I love that, man. And on that note, you talked about going to church weekly now and that being a part of your life. And I think that's beautiful. And you've built a family there. And I mean, to the point where you actually just recently got baptized at your house.
At the cribbo. You know, I don't need a crib. This is rare.
Yeah.
I guess I'm still in the crib.
Yeah, wow. In a crib, in one of the cribs.
Yeah.
But to like be surrounded by that, you know, family that you built at the church, and then also your loved ones that you have, part of your friends and family too. I think that's such a beautiful thing. And just like, I guess real quick, while we're still talking about that topic, like what was that experience like being baptized at your house and doing it on that level with everyone around like that?
Yeah, man, baptism was something that I wanted when I was really young. So I was supposed to get baptized by once again, I liked the girl. One of the first girls I ever liked, kindergarten through second grade. Shout out Casey.
Shout out Casey.
Yeah, so shout out to her. her pops was a pastor. I went to church with them. I loved how their family felt. It was so warm. It was so loving. It felt they had an adopted kid. It was just unconditional love in the house.
Right.
Went to church with them. I was supposed to get baptized. Then found out a whole bunch of stuff within their family, which was like my first church hurt. And so I never got baptized. Dang. And that just kind of continued of like every time I dip my toe back in, be like, nah, this church is corrupt. These people are off. Like, this is bad. Like, and so I just continued to experience church hurt. And so this, I think now being a grown man, it was always my own journey because I didn't grow up in church and nobody dragged me there. I chose to go, right? But as a grown man with kids and a wife who's very deep in her faith, it's just a beautiful thing to make the choice and then have it work in my home and work on my family. So the baptism for me, it was like the stamp, at the end. It's like the work has already been done, through me, but baptism is so much more important than just getting dipped in your water. It's a prerequisite to get into heaven, So the night before was really the big night where I learned all about baptism, right? We had a Bible study strictly about baptism and all the different places in the Bible where it mentions baptism and, from the origins to why it's necessary and what it means. So I felt like he was in the room that night, and my wife actually got rebaptized after everybody left.
No
after
way.
The party, yeah, like 11 o'clock at night, we all sat outside and she wanted to get rebaptized after having the Bible study because she couldn't necessarily remember exactly how she was baptized the first time, and we just wanted to make sure that like we both are walking together, so that's the main thing is like she had her journey, I've had mine, and now we're bringing it together for our family.
Wow. That's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
I'm so like happy to be like there for that moment because it was awesome. And it was one of those things like as it was happening, it felt like surreal because I've never witnessed a baptism.
Okay.
But it's just like, and I could barely even hear what he was saying because like the fountain was on.
Yeah, the fountain was mad loud.
The fountain was mad loud.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Too nice of a backyard.
Yeah.
The fountain was on. But like, it was just like, to be there, part of that moment, like I felt everyone just like watching and like just the energy was high, dude. And it was just crazy just to be there and like witness that was insane,
was crazy
dude.
for me because like he asked me how I felt and I was like, it literally, when I closed my eyes, it felt like I was in a tunnel.
Wow.
It just was like, shoo. And maybe because the fountains were on, I didn't hear anything else. I just like,
I
heard his prayer, but even for me, it was quiet, but it was like ingrained. It was I can't really explain it, but like I'm just in a tunnel.
Crazy.
Nothing else really matters. I'm not thinking about, because he asked me, he's like, I don't normally do baptisms in front of a ton of people.
Right.
Like it's normally like me and the person, so this is new. So he's like, sometimes when I do baptism in front of a ton of people, the person freezes up and sometimes they don't get the same feeling. I'm like, I mean, I don't know. We'll see,
for sure.
Especially when it's a baptism, when there's people that don't believe, and people that do, in this mixture of people, because you're not doing it at a church.
Right.
You're doing it with loved ones, regardless of their backgrounds.
Right.
But for me, it was like, as soon as I got in the water, I know that I said some words. And then after that, it was just like, I was in this tunnel of just like love.
Wow.
Yeah. It was very, very cool.
Man, it's like a rebirth in a way.
It's literally, it is. It is. Happy birthday. It's the day, the real day you're born into the kingdom. Yeah. So.
Beautiful, man.
Yeah.
Well, happy birthday to you.
You know what I'm saying? Happy birthday to you.
So, man, I mean, I'm so glad we were able to, talk about that in the extent that we have and talk about your faith and expand on that, because it's a huge shift of everything that you used to be known for. And I think it's beautiful, to witness the transition and to know you through the whole thing. And I do want to talk about another transition in your life, and that is streaming.
Yeah.
So Futuristic and Friends on Twitch. at Only Futuristic on YouTube every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. to 10 p.m. Mountain Time.
Yeah.
So that is 10 p.m. to 1 a.m.
Wow, that's actually
out there
crazy.
on the East Coast. So
Low key, I be on till midnight.
yeah,
pretty
so
much every night.
he be on till
So it'd be like 3 in the morning. What do they
for
be
those
doing?
East Coast people. Be on your stream, dude. They be falling asleep with your Twitch on.
Shout out to the East Coast people that be up till 3 in the morning with the skip the line.
For sure. No, it's that with the skip the lines
Shout out
waiting
to the
for
people
their turn.
that are
They're
number.
like, God damn it, I'm 116 in line.
The people that are position 737 right now. Shout out to them.
That are 730 right now for next week's stream for this coming week. Actually, that's tomorrow. Shit. Yeah.
Yeah,
damn.
bro. It goes by so fast.
Yeah.
Like by the time the next week comes, I'm like, yo, we just did this.
Yeah, this was yesterday.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. So I want to talk about the streams, and I want to talk about how like that really started. And I want to talk about like when you realized that was a lane. And because I remember there was like Weasel, you know, we got to shout out to Weasel because he was the kind of the real powerhouse behind making sure that this could happen at a high level.
Yeah.
But yeah, just to talk about like the beginning.
It's very interesting. Like, I guess, yeah, streaming is something that I never necessarily like. I've done it a couple times before in the past, but definitely not at a high level.
Right.
But music reviews I've been doing for 6 years
for Indie Amplify.
But I always just did them. You know, people ordered them, and I did them privately and sent it to them.
Right.
I actually had a conversation with another artist, Norman Sand, recently about music reviews, and he's like, "Dude, you should do those. You'd crush." Because I was on TikTok Live, and I'm just looking, and it's like all these people doing. It's kind of like the same way I felt about Indie Amplify when I first started that. I'm like, yo, there's these dudes giving education about the industry, and none of them ever made it in the industry.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, they're misleading people. You know what I mean? Like,
who are you to give me advice?
Yeah, why are you guys listening to these people that literally don't know the first thing about being an artist? It makes no sense. You know? So I'm on TikTok Live and I just see a bunch of dudes that like are doing music reviews, and I'm like, young man.
Yeah, for sure.
What's going on here?
Yeah.
Like, you know, so for me, it was like, I knew that my guy, Norman Sand, was always on live, and he usually made music on live. And I'm like, by the way, I see these people doing music reviews. He's like, oh yeah, bro, you should do that. So I'm like, all right, cool, let's do it. So I did the first couple, and I did them. Well, Weasel,
right.
Another full circle moment. And Weasel goes to the church. He does a live stream for the church I go to.
Nice.
But I was tapped in with Weasel before that because we were going to turn this house into a situation. We were going to stream in this house. That was part of that was part of the point of this house was streaming in this house.
Yes.
So the idea was already there. So I already hit up Weasel, but I was just going to focus on like the making the music.
Right.
But the music reviews seemed like the simplest, easiest way to like test things. Like let's test the cameras and all the stuff and like do music reviews and see how they go.
See how they go.
So the first one I did,
last words.
Yeah. So the first one I did through Indie Amplify. Second one I did through Indie Amplify, and we doubled revenue because I was charging for music reviews. And then this company reaches out. They actually booked me for a consulting through Indie Amplify. Shout out my guy Eddie. And they reached out, Nero. And they just made the process so much more simple because you were there for the first couple when we had the boards, right?
I was.
And
dude.
so I'm writing every skip, and then I'm double checking the email, and then 7 more orders came in. Now we got to go hit every whiteboard and write the names and all this stuff. And Nero just made it one simple thing.
Yes.
Where people could skip the line and super skip.
Like a playlist.
It literally puts it in the queue for the playlist, and it just goes, right?
Yeah.
So since I started, not even just starting Indie Amplify, my whole career, I've helped other artists.
Yes.
From the beginning. And not even just as an adult. As a kid, I was helping other artists as a kid, like my homies being like, come on, dog, like rap with me. This is how you do it. Let me write your verse for you.
Right.
Like come do this talent show. Like I won the last one. It'd be dope to have a hype man. You know, like
yeah.
So,
you're always putting people on.
Yeah, I've always just enjoyed helping other people.
Yeah.
And so like music reviews is like the purest form of like the most basic way you could help somebody. Like
for sure.
And then I'm just like, how could you elevate it and how could you take it to the next level? So that's when we're like, okay, cool. Well, let's clip every single one. So everybody has these videos for promo, you know, free of charge. You know, you have the clip for promo and all this stuff. But I genuinely enjoy doing it, you know, especially when like all the homies come through. It's like we're listening to good music, bad music in between, and just vibing and having fun, which as a dad is something that like I don't have a lot of free time to chill with the homies. So it just became like a really dope Wednesday night for me where it's like we're not going out to the bars, we're not doing that. We're like gathering and having fun together. Yeah.
Exactly, man. And that's such a cool thing that you were able to, I guess, test it with the music reviews, but then realize like this is actually, we should lean into this.
Yeah, lean into it a little more.
like-
And so the goal now for the music reviews is how can I get other people with different perspectives to do these reviews as well?
Yeah.
And how can we grow that side of the business? And then, like I said, that's kind of like its lowest form. And how can we lead? Like, cool, we're telling all these artists that their mixes aren't very good. How can we help them get better mixes? You know, we're telling them like your brand is off. Like, how can we help them build their brand? You know, how can we help them get bigger as an artist? How can I give them not just money? How can I give them game and opportunity and consistently elevate all these artists, especially when we're getting on a live stream and getting 500, 600, 700 submissions every week.
Right.
It's like, yo, that's 700 artists that we could make a real difference in their life. And I think that's something that, once again, the ego death in me, it's like, I've had this constant like battle of Futuristic and then everything else, right? Like, what's more important, being the guy or being the guy that helps everybody or the guy that started this business or this or this and this? And now it's like, it's so clear to me. It's so clear to me that like music was the thing that I think gave me the credibility to help people with their music, but also help people with their life. And so it's very clear to me that my purpose on this earth is putting people on, which I've been doing from the jump. And that's what actually makes me feel the best, you know, is putting people on. So for me, streaming is going to be something that's very big in what happens next for me. And two, like, talk about like being with a label, right? The label wants you to upload 6 weeks beforehand at minimum.
Mm-hmm.
And they want you to make the music however far out. So it's like when I make an album, every time I make an album, by the time the album comes out, I'm already off it. Yeah. I'm on to the next thing, right? So the dope thing that I want to do with streaming is like literally make the song on Friday and upload it while I'm on the stream.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how we're going to end the stream is like, yo, any graphic designers on the stream, like design this cover art, submit it, and we'll have a competition of that. Who's the best graphic designer watching the stream right now? Whatever that cover art is, boom. Here's the asset pack. Make me something up.
Yeah.
And then upload it right there on the spot, because the beauty, I think, of today's world, I mean, sometimes it's too much. Everything moves so fast. But for me, it's like when you're creating at such a high level, in such a frequent level, it's like, yo, creation, everything in life is creation.
Yeah.
Even go back to God, like we are all beautiful creations from God. So it's like the more I can create and put out into the universe and the more I can help other people create, run it up. I'll drop 10 songs in a day. I don't care.
Yeah.
And I think that's the cool thing is like, I want to get on live stream, have fun, challenge myself in real time and drop.
Yeah.
And I want to encourage other artists like, yo, this is how this is moving. This is, you know, so yeah, just helping other people.
Yeah, man. And I love that. And I think that's like something that to kind of tie it back to like faith and godly things. It's very well known that like service unto others is one of those things that is spoke about in the church a lot. And I think that's something that you've had that backbone principle value since you were a kid.
Yeah.
And I think it's interesting to now kind of see it come full circle and almost been like what's the word, like galvanized in a sense, where you've worked that muscle of like helping people so much that now it just bleeds into everything that you do.
Yeah,
like,
literally.
You just
I can't help it. Like I have to stop myself sometimes because I'm like, I don't have the time right now. I don't have the time right now to like, because every time somebody's talking about something, I always like feel like I have a way that I could like help it be great.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I can't right now.
I got everything. Yeah.
I can't. Yeah. But it's always been a big part of me.
Yeah. And,
always.
Yeah. And it's almost like it even to speak onto like finding new talent and how you talk about how you don't ever listen to like popular stuff. I mean, it makes sense because you're always looking for the next thing.
Right.
And that's something that you've always been a really good, you've had a good ear for people that are, upcoming. And I think that's the best way to say it, because it's like you worked with people before they were who they are now. And you've discovered people like, Michael Minelli, for instance, he's going crazy now. And it's like you saw him when he was way before he was anywhere near where he's at now. So I think that's like the whole putting people on thing, the stream and doing even like the $1,000 competition bracket thing. That was crazy, dude. To like those artists that were a part of that competition felt like they were part of something big.
Right.
And they started making connections within the group. And then like,
you know what I mean? That's the biggest thing about it too, is like the chat. We had 10,000 viewers last stream.
What?
10,000 viewers. We had 10,000 viewers last stream alone. And it was such a community.
Wow.
And so like when I started Indie Amplify, I got a lot of that too, where it was like, yo, this person's collabing with this person. Or even like on features, it'd be like, yo, two dudes save up bread and cop the third verse, by a bigger artist on Indie Amplify. And then they're doing these competitions and whatever it is. And it's just like, yo, it's fun. It's also like even a sports thing. I come from a sports background where it's like, yo, like music is semi-competitive as well. So it's like the challenge of all of it. The challenge of getting to the next level is like part of the reason why I think I loved music.
Yeah.
It all goes hand in hand. Like,
For sure.
So every part of the business of music, I love.
Yeah.
And just business in general. So I think there's so many things that tie into the cultivating of putting people on and helping people out and knowing how to see somebody as an artist, but also see them as a business, like their own business. And how can I take what they do and what they're great at, put things around them to blow that up? Or how can I it's like, you can focus on like 5 people and give them attention weekly or even daily, right? But then the thousands and thousands of people, what can you give them to get them up to this level and this tier to where it's like you're starting here, you're getting them here, this is happening. And like you can watch somebody literally go from like the 12 monthly listeners that some of these artists have when they submit a song up to touring the world.
For sure.
Being a household name. And I've been a part of that already multiple times. So it's just cool to know that like that's the focus.
Absolutely. And now you can almost do it on like an easier way because they're coming to you.
Yeah.
It's like, because a lot of the times the people that you would find is you would kind of do your due diligence and find these people through however you found them.
Right.
Even if it was someone sent it to you or you found it on a playlist or you just accidentally stumbled upon it, whatever the case is. But now you have like 700 people weekly in your DMs basically sending you tracks, direct links to their music, which is nuts.
Some fire too.
Dude, there's some people that like on that the $1,000, like the final one, like the finals.
Yeah, the top 32.
Dude, I was there for I think like an hour and a half, the last like stretch of the thing, and every song was gas.
Yeah.
It got to a point where it's like, oh my God, I hate that these had to go against each other. So it's cool to be like in a position of like, not only are you able to put these people on, but like it's genuinely good music. And these guys are real, like some of these guys are really good at what they do. So it is nice to like, not only like be able to put people on, but like have people that are good come to you.
Yeah.
That's
really
cool.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's cool. And I think it's cool to be able to help on both sides. Like I'm going to be able to help the upcoming artists, and I'm helping the upcoming artists and helping the artists at the higher level. So that's my whole goal, is like to be able to help no matter what level people are at, and add value.
For sure, man. And I want to talk, while we're still on the stream here, talk about like the other show ideas.
Oh yeah.
There's some other show ideas that are a little hush hush that we should maybe tease a little bit.
Yeah. Coming very soon. If you're watching this what's about to happen, right? After this album drops, we're going fully into the streaming. All right. Let's not play around about it. All right. No ifs, ands, or buts. We're jumping right in. We're going to gamify the music industry. And it sounds crazy, but if you think about it, right? Like you think about all the reality shows and everything in the world, live streaming is the ultimate reality show.
Yes.
And in a world where everything is super overdone and everybody copies everything, you can't copy something that's happening live.
Facts.
It's there, you know? And so for me, it's it's a challenge to myself, but it's also entertainment at the same time of like, what happens when I put a heavy metal band, a church choir, and an Afrobeat artist in the room together? What happens?
Some fire.
You know what I'm saying? What happens when I put two artists in the studio, give them 30 minutes to write a song, or an hour to write a song, and every 15 minutes they get a punishment and the chat chooses what it is? What happens when your favorite artist comes to the studio and before he records his verse, he has to do the ghost pepper challenge or the cinnamon challenge, or you know what I'm saying? Or like he wrote a whole verse and now the chat votes and now he's got to start over on a new beat. What happens during that? And I think that like the thing about music is it's supposed to be fun too.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I just want to have fun, show a different side of the industry, because the industry has been depicted as such a cutthroat.
Yes.
Everybody, it's so ego driven. It's so cutthroat. It's so king of the hill. And then on the other side too, it's also so Illuminati, so demonic. It's like, I want to be the opposite of all of that.
Yeah.
I want to just get people together, have a good time, play games, and make music out of the games.
Yes.
You know, and release it immediately. And not only that, like have the fans be involved. So I've never seen nobody do it, but it's going that way. And I think we're gonna crack it open.
Dude, I'm so excited about the ideas.
I
We've
think
talked
we're gonna
about
crack
there's gonna
it
be
open.
a 24-hour stream coming.
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna be making some music live. Like
It's already all planned out,
like
you know.
writing verses. Like, yeah, I mean,
I'm definitely gonna do an album in 24 hours, and I want every creative in the universe to have their shot at being a part of it. I definitely want to do a feature streamathon. I don't know what the world record is for features, but I gotta be like in the list of people that have done features, I gotta be top 10 and not 10. You know what I'm saying? Like I gotta be up there with T-Pain, Akon, and Lil Wayne at this point. I've done so many features, but like
true.
I love doing features. So
yeah,
it's
you
like,
had an album called Futuristic.
and I want to bring that back, like Futuristic 2.0, where it's like, yo, for Independence Day, let's just do a feature-thon. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo,
for
like
in the spirit of independent artists.
Independent artists, send it through Independence Day.
There
You know,
go.
we run it through then, and then we do a live stream, and I knock out a ton of features.
Exactly.
I have so many ideas for the stream, and
Survivor at the Sheesh.
Survivor at the Sheesh. You know,
Crazy.
I've had so many of these ideas, not that one, but so many ideas like this forever that I thought I was like, oh yeah, you know, we gotta make content and like make YouTube videos, but it's like, no, just live stream it. Just have fun doing it and let the people be part of it. And what's cool too is like good conversations happen and fun happens and music happens.
For sure. And
It's all those things.
Yeah, it's like lightly scripted too, where it's like basically the structure is scripted, but then everything that happens in between
free
is
flowing.
all free flow, which is like, that's the exciting part.
Yeah.
So it's like it has structure to it where people can expect a certain thing, but then just like there's a twist, you
Yeah.
know, and then there's like something else that's like unexpected something and
Yeah.
just things like that. And I think that will add so much like
I really don't see
entertainment.
myself creating music any other way.
Yeah.
From this point forward, I will not be making music unless it's on live stream with my friends. See, I'm so serious. Like,
Yeah.
there's and two, even the fact it's just like, yo, like we've lost touch of that. We send records back and forth, and like it's convenient, but like there's nothing better than being in the room and feel. I mean, you've been there,
Oh, yeah.
right? Like we've had moments in the studio where like we experienced the moment, and that moment is only there once, you know,
In the moment.
Yeah, it's in that moment, and you know, so it's like
Yeah.
I want to have more moments like that with my people, and when I work with other artists or you know these people that send their songs in, it's like, yo, I want to give moments like that to people, you know.
Nice.
And for over the years, you know, I've had conversations with artists that are now my friends, like Vinjay, for example.
Right.
He told me the story of like, he's like, yo, bro, when you reached out to me, like me and my wife was freaking out, and like I want to say he'd say either him or his wife cried, or like, you know, like it was, or even Michael Minelli, you know, all these people that at one point in time, it was like they were a random artist on the internet that I reached out to, and it was a big moment. And then when they met up, it was more big moments. It's like, and
Tony, great example.
Tony, you know,
Yeah.
so many artists that are like, yo, like it was such a big moment, and I just want to give that to more people, and for me and my friends too. It's like, yo, I just want to have more moments of having fun, making music, and the chat the chat has been so like incredible, and I'm building relationships with people who chat. I guess I get why people play video games on live now, because they're like, they actually build real friendships with these people through the screen. But like, I want to bring it all back to real life too.
Yeah, for sure. Especially people that are like in AZ, that are artists and like that want to be a part of these things. Like, give them the opportunity to like be a part of writing an album. 24 hours.
Yeah,
like, that's crazy.
And just spotlighting really dope talent, and giving people moments.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And I think that's what it's all about, and kind of having the platform now to really do whatever you want in that lane is awesome.
Yeah.
So it's really like the start of another chapter.
Yeah.
It's crazy to hear that's like you wouldn't make music any other way now. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. No,
you're like, I'm so locked in on streaming.
I'm just so locked in, and it's just the aspect of like, I'm so locked in coming up with because so much of my career has been based off ideas.
Yeah.
Right? Like the success, sure, the music was good, but it was always the rollout or the idea or the concept or the business behind it.
Yeah.
So like for streaming, it's really cool because with the album, you have to have this long, like I've had to do these 6-month long rollout plans of content and business and strategy and all this stuff. And it's like, let's just get together next week and make a crazy song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and have fun doing it. And that's the rollout.
Yeah.
The rollout is like whatever we capture during this moment is what we're posting and what we drop next week.
Yeah.
And then we do it again.
For sure. Yeah. And it's funny though, because it's like you've been doing it for so long that you can like confidently say like, yeah, like we're going to be able to do that. We can crush that. And it's
for
like,
sure.
When you've been doing it like that, it's like you can write a verse in 3 minutes. Like, straight up.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's when you're on that level, you can do shit like that and get like, not only get away with it, but do it successfully and like have it actually be entertaining, because it's not like people are waiting for you to like finish a verse. It's like, no, it's like, oh my God, how did you do that?
Yeah. It'll be fun. I'm really excited. I wanted to make sure that I gave this project its due diligence and, put it out properly and because very much so this project, the message and everything with this project still means a lot to me. But like I said, anytime you make a project, the songs are 3 to 6 months old, sometimes older than that. So I'm
comes out.
So I'm definitely like ready for the next phase of artistry and career for sure.
But you don't know where that is right now with the music necessarily, because you're just coming off this album. So you're kind of at this point, I feel like your next album is probably going to be an album that's made straight up on a stream.
Yeah. Well, and the crazy thing too is I think that we're going to be finishing a lot of my records that are half done on stream too, because I still have all those crazy rock joints.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's I have so much music, and I have features from a ton of people sitting around too. Yeah. I still have, like I said, I have 60 songs.
Damn.
So yeah, we got to do like a stream to finish all the songs.
God damn.
Yeah.
Yeah, so stream, go follow the stream at Only Futuristic on YouTube.
Everywhere.
It's Futuristic and Friends on Twitch.
Yeah.
Go check that out every Wednesday night.
Yeah.
But I want to talk about another topic here, something new for you. You recently started leaning into skits. Comedy stuff and like doing stuff with the homies and shooting with Danny Orange. Shout out Danny Orange,
new
Danny Jordan
videographer.
K. So he's been shooting your content for some time now. I mean, probably like 6 months, like half a year, probably something like that.
Maybe. Yeah.
It was like a good like major shift in like the quality of content though. It was like a jump where. And I think that's why you kind of leaned into it. But now it's getting a little bit even more so. It's like little mini short films at this point.
Yeah.
And I just want to talk about that and talk about kind of like what you saw.
First of all, it's very hot in here.
It is.
Are you not hot?
I'm pretty hot.
Sweating.
I could turn this fan on.
Yeah, for sure. Do that. For sure. It's hot.
Hey, Martians, real quick. I appreciate you taking the time to listen or watch wherever you are in the world. Over the last few months, the Martian family has grown so much. I could not be more thankful for all of my guests and every single one of you who continue to tune in every single week. Subscribers, ratings, likes, and comments all help us grow here on Mars. and it would mean the world. If you haven't already, please go to onmarspod.com/subscribe to subscribe on YouTube. Like and leave a comment, rate us on Spotify. All this good stuff helps keep the engine running to inspire Martians all over the world. P.S. Follow us on Instagram @onmarspod. Okay, let's get back to it. Yeah, so I wanted to talk about, working with Danny Orange and leaning into some skits. And I mean, just like, I really wanted to see like what you saw on the back end where you're like, oh shoot, like these are actually performing like a lot better than like the other, like just regular performance type videos.
I think it's just another break in the monotony, to be honest. I think that it's just a matter of like, I mean, they're not necessarily, it's not like they're going viral, like I think at this point, I'm so much more focused on impact than I am on, going viral, which has been such a big part of my career. It's like, I'm just trying to get the point across, and I'm trying to get something that's me. Like, yo, we be having fun messing around, and like when we get together, it's fun, So I think it's just another implementing that, so people don't. It's not like, oh, this, you don't always have to be so cool. You don't always have to be any like. Dog, I'm in here with my toes out right now. I'm doing a podcast in basically my pajamas right now, So it's just like I'm in that phase of my life, and so the skits are just like, yo, it's funny.
Yeah, you don't have to take yourself too seriously.
Yeah, and it gets the point across in a better way than being like, hey guys, I'm doing this stream, and if you want to be a part of it, It's like, no, it gets the point across, and it's like it shows all of our personalities and who we are. Yeah. So it's just a break from the monotony, and I love it, and it's
dude, absolutely. In a way, in the vein of putting people on, like people like, I mean, myself, I love acting in all the skits. Yeah, having a great time doing it. Yeah, but Austin Alco,
shout out
Alco. He came out.
Even Danny, I'll be making Danny get in the skits. Dude, the videographer himself.
I feel like Danny doesn't feel as confident as he is, because as he should be, I should say.
Well, he's terrible. Damn. No, I love messing with Danny.
Yeah, dude, but like those guys, and just like putting people on and giving them opportunities to act in this stuff. And
today I brought a guy for a skit who I just hoop with at the gym.
Oh, right. And he killed it.
He's always just a goofball, and he's always like, yo, let me rap for you, let me rap. And he doesn't really rap, he just says it to be annoying. Yeah. So I'm just like, you're gonna do that in a commercial.
That character,
And so he just came through today and did it in a commercial, and he's like, yo, I really had a lot of fun, bro. Like, I'll be at the stream tomorrow.
Dude,
yeah. So
good.
Yeah, it's just another, once again, cool way, because if you can build up these characters or personalities, it's like, yo, people look forward to seeing like, what's this person gonna do, or this. It's like eventually, everybody kind of has their own character, and it's a thing, and these can be the trailers for everything else we're doing. So it feels better than going out and rapping over my song, because I've been doing that for 20 years.
Exactly. Yeah. And it's just like, why do the same thing when we could just like have fun and do something else?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then, I mean, it probably performs a little bit better too, because it's actually engaging, and it's like entertainment versus just like promotion straight up. Yeah. So it doesn't feel as like spammy. Right. In a way.
Yeah. You like want to watch it to see what stupid stuff is about to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when it's like good quality. So it's just like, it almost feels like you're watching a little mini movie.
Which also leans into the reality TV.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
And I'm a reality TV show junkie. Like, I genuinely love reality TV.
Is that like a guilty pleasure?
I guess, yeah.
Do you watch it with Paris? Or
but she didn't used to watch reality TV. I put her on. Like, that's always been from the time I was a kid. Like, that was me and my mom's bonding, was reality TV shows.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, like I watched the first episode of Survivor. I'm that old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, so if you did Survivor at the Sheesh, that would be a super full
That's what I'm saying.
Moment.
But it like, all of it now makes even more sense to me as I'm diving into the world. I'm just like, this is what I've always loved in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you're just becoming the truest version of yourself.
Yeah, bro. Yeah.
Dang, that's the craziest parallel.
Yeah.
Dude, I feel like this show does that so often, where it's like we dig deep and it's almost like, oh my God, I've been this person my whole life.
Wait a minute. Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
What, you just do that?
Yeah.
What kind of wizardry?
Facts.
I do want to talk about Michael Minelli. I mentioned his name earlier, and recently he blew up, man. Shout out the boy.
What a beautiful thing it's been, bro. I cried today reading his message that he posted about me on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, one tear.
One thug tear.
Yeah, it didn't come all the way out. It was one like when it blinked.
Yeah.
You know, it was in my eye and I blinked and then it was just right here.
Yeah,
So
like
technically
a
it was a
movie.
cry.
Yeah, technically
It was a cry.
crying.
Yeah.
But Michael Minelli recently blew up off of put on the headphones.
Pick up the headphones.
Yeah, pick up the headphones if you can rap, sing, all that. And it's just been wild to see that. And he really, really leans into it now. I'm sure,
crazy.
you know, that phone's probably been ringing.
Oh my goodness.
What's
So much.
up?
So
what's up?
Yeah, so much. So it's been beautiful because like this is the ultimate, like, I don't want to say put somebody on because Michael's talent put him on.
Right.
But like the ultimate, like, put somebody on. And he really is my best friend. You know, and it's just been one of those things where like I've watched it from its beginning phase all the way to this. And I've helped in every level and been a resource at every level. And obviously I've been managing him now for, I think 4 years, at least 3 years. And being able to maneuver the spaces for him when he hasn't been there or, you know, getting an offer and like we move the same. So out of every artist, I've let every other artist go. Or they've let us go one way or the other, you know, or the deal expired. And moving into this space, once again, like praying for clarity and everything else, it was like I made a couple calls and decided like I just wanted to manage Mike.
Yeah.
And it's because I'm the most passionate about Mike and I always have been. He was the reason why I started managing in the first place. So just watching him grow and blossom and like, I guess watching the results of his hard work and our hard work has just been, bro, it's so rewarding.
Yeah.
It's so rewarding. It's like it's better. It's almost better. It is better. At this phase of my life, it's better that than if it were to happen to me. It's like I get more excited for something to happen when a call comes in, when the emails come in and like I'm able to close a deal for him. It's like, which is now happening every day. You know, I'm just like, guess what happened today? Guess what I got for you today? Guess what happened? Damn. You know, and then what's so great about Mike is like we're both dogs. Yeah. Like he just goes out and gets it. You ain't never in the history of other than Afro Man, you've never seen an artist drive, and Afro Man does not as good a job as Michael Minelli. Drive the tour vehicle, sell their own merch, drive the tour vehicle for other people. You know what I'm saying? Like be a part, settle up at the end of the night, like do every job himself, completely cut his ego out of it and be of service to other artists he's opening for. But he's like that in every scenario, even with the pick up the headphones things. Like, you know, camera guy doesn't show up, Mike goes and buys a new phone so he can set up 3 phones instead of having a camera guy film the one angle. He's like, cool, it's an iPhone. 3 iPhones set up now. 2. You know? So it's just like he goes out and he gets it no matter what. And that's how I am. So it's like we can have a call. If we make a plan, it's happening. Where so many times in management, I sat there and racked my brain for weeks on end, like, all right, I got the master plan. This is going to be what it is. And then the artist doesn't do it, you know? So with Mike, it's just like, it's daily. And two, it's like, I've never communicated with an artist as much either. So there's a lot of, you know, I guess synergy in that where it's like, yo, yeah, if we talk every day and we're after it every day, we're holding each other accountable every day, we're gonna get it. Yeah. You know, so yeah, it's just been beautiful, bro. And seeing his talents flourish and him even getting better, you know, in the process and just the songs resonating and him having a real fan base. I mean, dude, I remember he texted me, what would it have been, 2 months ago, and was like, I'm about to pass you in followers and I'm at 430,000. And that day he passed me and now he's at 620,000.
Oh my God.
And that was like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So it's just like the growth. I mean, that's 200 extra thousand followers in like 2 months.
100K a month.
So he's just growing at a rapid rate. And I'm very excited to like unfold this next chapter and just like see the fruits of our labor and just like watch him get the life that he's always wanted and deserved, bro. Like he's been through
Absolutely.
so much as a human and as an artist that it's just like I'm glad that I can be the one solid person in his corner that like he never has to question if I'm on no weirdo stuff.
Absolutely,
You know?
man. Yeah, and it's such his story is so beautiful, man, and it's like inspiring because of like all the tribulations that he went through growing
Yeah.
up. And
Yeah.
if you haven't watched Michael Minelli on Mars Pod, please go watch that episode because you'll know who we're talking about. This is a great dude.
Way to plug your own podcast
Yeah.
on your podcast. I like that. I love that.
We get all the homies on Mars, you know what I mean? But like Michael Minelli is like one of those dudes that you want to see win.
Yeah,
And
bro.
so to see him like win and do it with such passion and
It's
like
good for the world.
it's good for the world.
It's good for the world when Michael Minelli wins.
Yes, dude.
Yeah.
I love it. And it's also probably really cool for you to see like told you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Told you. It's like
Yeah.
I knew this guy was special
Yeah.
from the beginning. You know?
I mean, and it's just bro, it's just consistency. Like I've seen a ton of artists and I've been a part of a lot of artists blow up and I've watched and I've called it from afar.
yeah.
You know, so it's just like, yeah, being all the way, you know, from getting it out the mud with him has been really, really cool, especially at this phase of life.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure, man.
Yeah.
And that's wild to like have him be experiencing these things for the first time that you experienced 10 years ago.
Yeah.
You know, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
then 10 years from now, you're going to be like at his like kid's 4th birthday party or whatever. you
Yeah,
know what I mean?
facts,
That's going to
facts.
be crazy. It's
Facts. No,
but
it's really beautiful.
so much
man.
bigger than music now too.
It
It's-
is.
Yeah, it's like,
It's
yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
I love every second of it, man. It's dope. What I love about my life right now, there's nothing in my life that I don't enjoy.
That's such a beautiful place to be in.
Yeah, there's nobody. There's no people that I don't enjoy. There's no weirdness. There's no tasks, jobs. There's nothing that I don't enjoy doing right now. Everything that I'm doing, I love. So it's cool.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, I feel like that's a place that some people never get to. So
Yeah.
it's just like, it's got to feel like almost like peaceful and
Yeah.
also like in a way like so much less stressful because
Yeah.
like you know that every day is going to be a good day.
Yeah, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna get to it and I'm
Yeah.
gonna have fun doing it.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, you really make your own life, but I feel like you making the changes in your life over the past few years has really helped you gain that, I mean, clarity in a sense and really
Yeah.
figured it out to the point where you're at peace.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I feel like even just knowing you from then to now, like feeling like your energy now, like what you care about are totally different. Like, or it's totally
Yeah.
different.
It's actually crazy having like,
like-
I've never thought about it this way, but yeah, like your peace costs you.
yeah.
Like it really does. And like, I mean, different scales of everything, right? But like if I really think about it, right? Like there's certain artists that I liked working with more than others, right? In the management situation. I had a partner. So there's that where it's like we're dealing with and working with 10 different artists at one point in time. And so it's like
Right.
naturally there's gonna be things throughout the day or like disagreements with the partner or disagreements with the artist, right? And then you have like businesses that I was a part of where there's disagreements in that, you know, and you have just all these different things where it's like there's just, I guess, friction, you know,
Yeah.
and turmoil sometimes. And it's just like, and then even just like, to be honest, for the money play of the business or the money play of even like touring or whatever, it's like in the last month, I've turned down 15 to 20K worth of shows just because I'm like,
It's not
I
worth
don't
it.
want to.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to leave my kids for even a day
Yeah.
at this point,
Yeah.
you know? And so like, but in the past I would look like, I don't know when I'm going to make 20K again, you know? So it's like, I can't turn down money but it's like, yo, everything will come and your peace costs. So like at some point you got to make the decision on what's more important, the money or the peace. And usually when you're at peace, then the money comes anyways.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah. So it's just like being at a point where it's a blessing and it's a privilege. Like, don't get it twisted. Like there's people that, most people, right? You gotta make the money play, you know? But at the end of the day, for anybody that's like ever like second guessing or wondering, it's like for your peace, you have to turn down the stuff you don't want to do to see if you can do it on the other side.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, for me, it's just like I'm finally at a place where I think mentally I'm okay with turning things down that don't fit in my life, don't represent my life well. You know, like a 420 show. I got offered a 420 show.
Doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I can't drop my Christian album and then go do a 420 show and just the whole thing is focused around getting high and whatever else is going to go on at this show.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. Not that smoking weed is a sin necessarily.
But it's just like for branding purposes, that's inconsistent. And
and it's just something
doesn't
that
represent that. Doesn't represent
and
what
I
you
don't
do.
really necessarily want to do.
Yeah.
So yeah,
you don't even smoke.
Yeah, it's just contrary to popular belief. I do not smoke. Yeah, so it's just a cool scenario to be in a place of where everything is fun.
Yeah,
and that's rare.
Yeah, man, I love that. And it's like it all also comes down to like what you said, like you don't want to leave the fam. And it's like, you got 3 kids now.
Yeah.
You know, you're locked in with Paris. And it's like, even to the point where like we're doing this podcast app, you know, it's fucking 10:45 at night because you had to put the kids to sleep at night. And it's like, and this is, I guess this is what growing up is like. Yeah. You know, your priorities shift and you get to a point where you're like, it doesn't matter. Like, all that doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So, I guess talking about that, like being at this age now where you're like, you've lived so long in this music stuff that now it's just like family is the most important thing. And it's just like, I guess like having 3 under 3. And I guess was Melody just born when we had the other pod? How old is she? She
wasn't even born.
She wasn't born yet.
Mm-mm.
Wow.
Yeah, she wasn't born.
So I guess let's just talk about the fam and how like things have shifted now that Melody's apart and, you know, having 3 under 3, well, Cadence is 3, but like 3 and below, 3 kids.
Wouldn't advise it. Nah, bro. It's literally the most beautiful thing in the world. And like another huge thing that brought me to my faith. Like when you watch a woman and when you truly dive into a pregnancy, because some people get pregnant and they do their checkups and at the end, like they just, you know, they take all the drugs and they have the baby. We went all natural at home, you know, and I learned every part of the process, you know, and my wife learned every part of the process. And when you realize how beautifully the body is designed to create another life, and then even after that life comes out of your body, how your body is still like the fact that breast milk can cure, like, oh, she got gunk in her eye, put some booby milk on it and it goes away. Like your body is literally creating things to cure your child, right?
That's
so
great.
When you look into like, and you're more natural about your life, right? Like everything that we you know try to give to our kids is more natural,
right?
It's like, yo, God put everything on the earth that you would ever need, you know. So having kids brought me
closer to your faith,
closer to my faith. So that's thing one, and then like my peace became so important because I realized the only times I spazzed on my kids was when I had a rough day at work, you know? So it was like, I'm walking into the crib, Cadence ain't doing nothing different than he does any other day, but because I'm stressed out because of my work, I'm taking it out on him.
Right.
So I learned to check all my baggage at the door. Like it doesn't come inside with me. It can't, you know? And then that also leads me to not being on my phone as much, you know, being present in the moment, which that alone can change your life.
Absolutely.
You know, and then every decision, you just know that it impacts them. So your decision making, that was my sobriety, right? The final straw was leaving this crib on Thanksgiving a couple years back, you know, like that was one of the things where, I guess not the final straw, but one of the things where I'm like, yo, you know how close it is to drive to my crib. And I'm like, oh, I had one drink and Cadence was in the whip. Like, nah, never again.
Right.
You know?
Absolutely.
So it just, every aspect of being a dad, when you really, really want to be a dad and you really, really like prioritize it and make it number one in your life, it's like, it has to change everything. You can't, we were talking about, I can't just spontaneously decide I'm going to do something today. It's like, nah, I told my son I would play with him after work.
Yeah.
So no matter how cool the thing is, like it happens sometimes with Ryan. He's like, yo, you want to sit courtside at the game tonight? My answer is no.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah.
I can't.
For sure.
Why? I'm swimming.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, well, that sounds stupid. You could swim every day. Yeah, but I told Cadence after his nap I'd swim with him. Yeah. And I'm not going to break my word to my son.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely.
So
man.
It's just like,
that's interesting.
Until you're in a position like you might not get it, but like for me, it's like, and that it's been another thing. It's like, if you don't understand it, you're not meant to be in my life. I don't care.
Yeah, for
You know,
sure.
like my family comes first over everything. So yeah, it's just beautiful, bro. They teach us so much. They've taught me patience. I'm the most impatient person in the world, but with kids, you have to be patient.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know?
And they really help you become the truest, best version of yourself.
Yeah,
And they really kind of force you to become that if you want them to have a good life. And I
right.
think that's the real thing where it's like you have to like put them first over everything.
Yeah.
Otherwise, like they're not gonna grow up to have the life that every kid deserves, really.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And it's like I really do feel like every kid that's brought on this earth should have parents that give a, you know what I mean, that care.
yeah,
And that are there for them, that type of deal. And
yeah,
it's beautiful
bro.
that you guys do
And
that.
I'm just out here trying to break the generational curses in my family as well. You know, where
Yeah.
it's like, yo, I come from divorce on both sides, and you know, even now, you know, like both my brothers are divorced from their wives, and it's just like, you know,
Wow.
I from the time I was a kid, like I just never wanted that. You
Yeah.
know, so like I don't even know how, like I couldn't.
No way.
I just never could. Like I will work so hard on me and my wife's marriage for us and for those kids, because like at the end of the day, it's like just like anything else in life. It's like, yo, conversations in healthy relationship, like there's no reason for me to get divorced, and I would never want to miss time with my kids over anything. You could, and like, yeah, just all the things that have been done, and that I see people doing. I'm just like, dog, there's no woman in the world that could make me cheat on my wife.
Right.
And like, and because of that, because of so many things, but like the biggest thing, like, yo, leaving my family and losing my family because of that, you're bugging.
Yeah.
But it's like so many people just do that like it's nothing.
For sure.
And so for me, it's like, dog, at this point,
Couldn't be me, yeah.
there's nothing you could do to there's no apple that you could tempt me to bite at this point that would jeopardize my family.
Yeah, for sure. And
Yeah.
that's the real thing where it's like knowing what's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And it's like at this point, you and Paris are locked in. So you'll never have to. I feel like that everything is so strong there, and it's just
Sorry, ladies. It was, you know, we had a good run. It's now over.
It's now over, dude. It's been over,
it's
dog.
done. It's done. I wish you all well, but for those reasons, I'm out. Oh, drop the mic.
Yes.
Literally.
So next topic here, the last topic here. Actually, you know what? We already talked about it. It's so funny how I write these notes. I write notes for every single show. And every time I end up going through notes without even like needing to read them. And then I read them like, oh shit, we already talked about that.
Yeah.
All right, cool, perfect.
Hit that.
So it's just like, yeah, this is such a great episode. I mean, at this point, all we can really do is push these people to the new album. We got the new streams every single Wednesday at 7 p.m. Mountain Time, 10 p.m. Eastern. Lock in.
Shouts out. Shouts out to all my people in Brooklyn.
Yes, at Futuristic and Friends on Twitch, at Only Futuristic on YouTube, Instagram, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And then the album comes out this Friday.
Yeah.
Finally found.
Wow.
So Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's wild. You got another album number 20.
20th album, bro.
Wow.
20th album, finally found. Out this Friday.
Dude, 20 albums in how many years?
The crazy thing is this is just 20 professional albums. I probably made 20 before that.
For sure.
2012 was my first professional release.
Professional like studio record.
Yeah.
Which would be The Rise.
No. Dream Big.
Dream Big.
I wonder if I could even name them. Let's see.
Yeah, from the top.
Dream Big, Chasing Down a Dream. In order. TGIF, Traveling Local, The Rise, Coast to Coast, As Seen on the Internet, Blessings. No, what more could you ask for? Blessings, Songs About Girls. That's 10. Okay, Songs About Girls was 10. So would it go I Am, Zachary Lewis, That's 2019. Still on the rise. Futuristic. I know what you're thinking.
15. So this one.
Never too late.
So that would be 2022.
Yep, never too late. We made it. Dang, I'm missing one. What am I missing?
Did you do that album with Michael Minelli?
We made it. Yeah, I know what you're thinking. I said that right.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking. That's right.
We made it. Ikigai. Finally found. There's one missing. So I missed one somewhere.
Damn, we'll have to find it in post.
Dang.
Figure out which one he missed. Dang.
I missed one. What?
Yeah. When we watch it back, you'll be like, oh, duh. You're gonna be able to look up the discography.
Now, I am Zachary Lewis, Futuristic. Wait, I didn't say Did I say Futuristic?
You did Futuristic.
On the right.
Yeah, you did.
I gotta know now. Which one did I miss? We made it. Of course. Don't Want to Be Famous.
That was 2021.
Yep. Don't Want to Be Famous.
But that was, you had 2 albums. Yeah, you had the Mike Minelli one and that one. That was right before the Rock Project.
Yep. Don't Want to Be Famous. We made that one in like a day and a half, 2 days.
That's why you forgot it.
Yeah. Nah, I spent some time on it. I just didn't expect to make it. That was like the first, and I guess that one and We Made It didn't really have that much of a rollout, but those were the only 2 where like every other album I'm like, oh, this is how I'm gonna roll it out. It was planned. Those 2 was like, I had a session and was like, oh, there's like 8 good songs in this session. Let's finish these and do a couple more.
Yeah. It's like, this is pretty much dead.
Yeah, crazy. So 20 albums. Finally found, first Christian project, and the last album that I will ever do in the traditional manner. I'm saying it now.
Wow.
You know, I think everything from here on out is creating in real time, releasing in real time, and having fun doing it.
Yes.
Yeah.
You heard it here first on Mars. My brother, thank you for coming on. I appreciate your time, man.
Yes, sir.
This is beautiful. My fellow Martians, please go follow Futuristic. Follow his journey. Go be a stream subscriber or whatever, you know. Submit your music if you are an artist. You know, take all this information that he's giving out for free.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
some of it.
You know, you might have to pay for a super duper skip. You'll get it.
The super duper skip's coming soon. For sure.
All right, my fellow Martians, I love you so much. We'll see you next time on Mars. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in and watching this episode of the On Mars Pod, and for sticking around to the end, man. I really appreciate you guys. You are the real Martians. Like this video, comment below what your favorite part was, what was most inspiring to you. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell for notifications here on future interviews coming out soon, and also follow us on Instagram at On Mars Pod. Love you guys so much. We'll see you next time on Mars.
Dope.
Killed it.
Another one.
As usual.
Another one.
Yeah, man. This is just what we do.
Yeah. The On Mars Pod with Harry himself and none other than Zacharistic.
China.
Everything's in China. They got them crazy tariff things going on right now, though.
Oh, always feels good to get back in the saddle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This is not on the record.
This is
they
off
say.
The record. Yo, I'm in my slides and my
dogs are out.
My dogs are
Crazy.
out. I'm gonna get a pedicure probably on Thursday.
Dude, your album's been up there since that episode too. It's crazy. It's like every episode is basically like for the past like 20 episodes. It's been up. And it'll probably it's part of the show now, so
we love that. We love that.
We got to get a vinyl for Finally Found.
I know. I thought about it.
Are you gonna do it?
No, too late. Oh yeah, turn that off before I have to buy a new one.
Yeah,
it's like the battery is too strong for the fan, but there's no battery.
The battery.
You know what I'm saying? Like when you get a supercharger and then it charges so fast that it explodes your phone. That's what this feels like.